The entry-level maxi scooter segment in the Philippines has long been dominated by the mighty Yamaha NMAX. However, the other Big Four member, Honda, has an ace up its sleeve in the PCX 150. Considering their close proximity in terms of price and their undeniably similar specifications, this begs the question, which of these two is worth your hard-earned money? It's time to go beyond the ride. When you look at both bikes at the same time, things aren't as similar as they seem. Sure, they're in the same segment, but both Honda and Yamaha have taken two different approaches in designing these scooters. Let's start off with the NMAX. It's matte with a questionable glossy finish by the footwell. Now, let's talk about its design. I don't know if it's just so common because they are everywhere, which, by the way, is a good problem for Yamaha. But I feel like it's kind of dated. Though, objectively speaking, it is still a nicely designed maxi scooter with LED headlights and taillights, 13-inch tubeless alloy wheels, and a design loved by many. Moving on to the Honda. It's glossy, with some touches of chrome here and there, which, by the way, I'm not a big fan of. However, you can easily fix that in the aftermarket. It's a very sleek design, something quite different from that of the NMAX, and the pearl white paint helps accentuate all of its elegant lines. Equipped with LED headlights and a very distinct and unique X-shaped taillight, the PCX looks very premium, even down to the foot pegs, which look and feel special. However, not so special are your handlebars. They're very shiny, but expose a lot of the brake lines and wirings that Yamaha has covered nicely on the NMAX. I guess that just means you could easily change out your handlebars, if you so desire. Additionally, the scooter rolls on 14-inch wheels, an inch larger than those of the NMAX. So based on looks, which do you prefer? Well, it is a very subjective question. Do you want something a little bit more subtle like the NMAX, or something a little bit more flashy like the PCX, especially with a dash of chrome, for your daily commuter? Personally, I actually like this look better, except the wiring, it's kind of messy. But because it's my preference, it doesn't mean it's better. So based on looks, let's call it a tie. You can get 45 kilometers per liter on the NMAX, whereas Honda, you can get 45.3 kilometers per liter on the PCX. As far as fuel capacity, the NMAX gets 7.1 liters, while the Honda beats it yet again with an 8-liter fuel tank. Now the team has spent a good amount of time running these two scooters through their paces. In the blue corner, we have the venerable Yamaha NMAX. Powered by a 155cc liquid-cooled fuel-injected single-cylinder engine, this well-loved maxi scoot churns out a healthy 15.18 horsepower and 13.9 Newton-meters of torque. In the red corner, we have the Honda PCX 150 that adds a stylish flair into the match, with a maximum power figure of 14.5 horsepower and 13.6 Newton-meters of torque. This scooter's 150cc liquid-cooled 4-stroke engine is expected to put up a good fight against the NMAX. With both scooters' pretty impressive power figures, it goes without saying you need really good brakes. For starters, the Yamaha NMAX is put to a stop by a pair of discs, one at the front and one at the back, while the PCX also comes equipped with a front disc brake. However, the rear features a more rudimentary drum brake. Both scooters feature ABS as standard. As far as suspension duties are concerned, the Yamaha NMAX is equipped with standard non-adjustable telescopic forks up front and a pair of non-adjustable shock absorbers out back. The PCX gets a similar setup with a standard fork and twin shocks at the front and back respectively. Now, because you're probably going to be using these two scooters a lot in city traffic, the weight is something to consider. The NMAX tips the scales at an impressive 127 kilograms, while the PCX is just a tad bit heavier at 131 kilograms. That's just a 4 kilogram difference. Yes, I am good in math. I also know that 4 kilograms equals 40 quarter pounders. Yeah, medyo gutom na ako. Guys, kaya na? Both scoots are adorned with similar tech. For starters, the NMAX sports an all-digital display that shows speed, real-time fuel economy, coolant temps, and a handy little clock. It's all in an LCD display that isn't too clear, but has grown from the previous generation nonetheless. The PCX has a large and clear LCD display with an abundance of information such as speed, fuel economy, date and time, engine temps, as well as trip meters. The PCX does take the cake in terms of clarity and ease of use this time. Both bikes feature a handy start-stop system, which helps you save some fuel every time you come to a stop. As far as controls are concerned, the NMAX feels quite premium for a small bike. The PCX too, however, just like other Hondas, the horn button is reversed from the signals, so you're likely to end up honking your horn instead of toggling your turn signals and vice versa. The ignition for both work in the same fashion. Press the knob, turn the dial once to access your fuel cap and under-seat storage. Turn once more and hold down the brakes to start the engine. Now let's talk about the storage capacity underneath the seat. The NMAX has 23.3 liters, while the PCX boasts 28 liters. Now, if you're talking about sheer numbers, the PCX wins. However, the NMAX can fit a full-face helmet underneath the seat, even though it's got less liters. While the PCX can only fit a quarter helmet, which is a little disappointing. As some of you know by now, I stand at about 5'6", 5'7" on a good day wearing these shoes, maybe 5'8". Why do you think I bought them? Same height of an average Filipino male. The seat height of the NMAX is 765 millimeters. And as you can see, slightly on my tippy toes. Meanwhile, the PCX is at 764 millimeters. Almost the same, but the inseam of this is quite narrow. That's why I can flat foot the bike. All right, let's start with the NMAX. The linear power delivery of the engine is extremely apparent. Before you know it, you're already edging the speed limit. The throttle is also very responsive, especially in heavy traffic situations. It can achieve 100 kilometers per hour eventually. The brakes are also pretty impressive, thanks to the front and rear disc brakes. Handling-wise, the NMAX is pretty light on its feet. It's very flickable, and the turning radius is absolutely stellar. Comfort-wise, the NMAX rates rather low in my opinion due to the stiffly sprung suspension. You might find yourself bouncing on your seat while traversing EDSA's imperfect pavement. I guess the only consolation would be its very wide and accommodating seat. I will say this though, I am loving the generous amount of legroom you get, and honestly I don't really need it, but I enjoy it. It really does feel like a couch on wheels until you hit a speed bump. Then it feels like you're in Space Mountain in Disneyland. It's a roller coaster, FYI. It's a fun ride, but just a little too harsh on your ass. Alright, sitting in the saddle of the Honda PCX, it's immediately apparent that Honda has paid more attention to the comfort and supportiveness of the seat. It has more foam to support your back while riding, making it a perfect bike for rides covering more distances. To add to this, riding the PCX feels so much more planted than the NMAX, even in harsh road conditions. This is due to the fact that it rolls on bigger 14-inch wheels, as opposed to the NMAX's 13-inch set. As far as power is concerned on paper, the NMAX should be faster. However, the Honda feels just as fast. But at lower speeds, you will feel the engine vibration coming through a little bit. Sometimes it feels like the bike is about to stall. However, coming to a stop is surprisingly stable considering the fact that the PCX makes do with drum brakes on the rear, with ABS only present up front. Overall, the PCX feels a lot more refined. It's heavier, but in a good way, and you'll definitely be a less common sight on the road. Let's talk about the price tag. You can get the Honda PCX for 133,900 Philippine pesos. Meanwhile, the Yamaha NMAX can be yours for a starting price of 119,900 Philippine pesos. While the top spec variant that we have here is 134,500. So, with the price pretty much even, which one wins? When you say Yamaha versus Honda, it's kind of like you're saying Lakers versus Celtics, Real Madrid versus Barca, Tupac versus Biggie, King Kong versus Godzilla, BTS versus... I don't know any other K-pop band. But anyway, you get the picture. Two heavyweights battling each other for supremacy. Now, in the Philippines, we all know that the NMAX won the heart of the Filipino. However, if you watch this comparo, it's kind of like we're leaning towards the PCX. Here's why. Now, performance-wise, they pretty much feel the same. The PCX only has drum brakes in the back, but they do work very well. Now, where the NMAX wins, well, it wins in practicality and in storage space. It does have less storage underneath the seat than the PCX, but because it fits by full-face helmet, it gets the check mark there. Where the PCX wins, two different categories: style and comfort. Very important categories. Plus, an X factor. It's a little bit more unique. You just don't see too many of these on the road compared to that. So, who wins? Well, the PCX does win in this comparo by a very, very slim margin. Do you agree or not? Let us know in the comment section below. For more information about these bikes and other MCs out there, log on to www.motodeal.com.ph. This has been Jinno. I hope you guys enjoyed going beyond the ride.